In this episode, we're going to teach you how to prepare an extraordinary challah for Rosh Hashanah. We're going to explore its special meaning, and in the process, we're also going to nourish our souls. Now, did you know that this time of year we use round challahs? And there are a lot of symbolic reasons for this, not least of all the following two. Number one, the shape is round because a round shape is endless. There's no beginning and there's no end to the goodness and the blessings that we're praying for. And the second is that it's shaped like a crown. And one of the key ideas of Rosh Hashanah is that we symbolically crown God, King of the universe. We also dip apples in honey because of that double sweetness there as well. And because our sages taught us that the scent of the Garden of Eden was like an apple orchard. There are so many physical symbols that represent deep spiritual concepts, and they're so delicious. And speaking of delicious, I'm delighted to have Sheri Levy here with us today. Now, Sheri Levy is a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, and she's the founder of SexyStrongLife. She's also the founder of Journey to Organic, through which she provides classes, recipes, and individual cooking sessions to those who wish to navigate their own nutritional healing paths. And she's going to share all her secrets with us today. Welcome, Sheri.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. This is such an honor to be on the show. I just have to cross that off my bucket list to be on Adrienne Gold's show and have this opportunity. And I'm grateful to it. And I want to share, this is what we're going to do today, okay? We are going to make this gorgeous rose challah. I'm going to show you how to make these roses on this challah so that you can bring it into your Rosh Hashanah table. But I am a functional holistic health practitioner and I eat bread. So I'm sure that's probably illegal in many states, but it can be done if it's genetically right for you. So I encourage you to know who you are. But I also want to just share with you, because I have to take this moment right now to just be grateful and recognize that there's no coincidences. I know that there are many of my Momentum and JWRP and JWI sisters online. So I love you. And I just want to say that, as Lori Platnick says, no coincidences. 6 months before I went on my JWRP trip, I put the industrial trash can in my kitchen and I took my family organic. So this is a lot of why I am such a baker, and I'm try to master as many cuisines as I can, because I just don't want my husband to divorce me and my children to make me walk the plank. So this is why I make things as beautiful as I can, because we eat with our eyes. But also I have to just share that today I'm just fulfilling my promise to God, to Hashem, because after my Momentum trip, I find friends, I bring them on a girls' vacation to Maui. We see whales breach out of the sky, jump. I see the magnificence of God, and I get this phone call from a doctor that says I have invasive ductal breast cancer, carcinoma, ER/PR positive, all the buzzwords, right? Everything you don't want to hear on your first girls' trip. And so I had to make a decision, right? Debbie Downer, ruin everybody's trip, or just find where this information was. No coincidences. Why is this happening now? So I'm on this trip with my Madriha. She happens to be my roommate, right? No coincidences. Phyllis Shinbane, I love you. I know you're on. And anyway, I say to her, and I'm kind of snarky. And I say to her, I understand why God is doing this to me. Okay, great. No coincidences. I'm supposed to put my money where my mouth is. I'm supposed to heal myself holistically so that it gives me some kind of credibility. And then that way people will listen to me and I can help them heal themselves. But I said, I can't heal the world. So I'm going to start with the Jewish women. So here I am, sisters, here I am. I'm going to teach you how to make gorgeous food. I'm going to encourage you to listen to your bodies and do what is best for you, because there's lots of information, lots of ways to heal. But let's get the party started, and let's make this challah, right? This gorgeous challah. So first, I'm going to just show you what we're making. We're going to, hopefully I won't destroy them, make these gorgeous roses, right? And I'm going to show you how to do them very easily. We're going to, it's going to like, you know, look like this, right, when you're done. Gorgeous. And I'm going to show you the ingredients that I use. Now, and this gorgeous braid that Adrienne was talking about. And remember, right? You know, remember, challah is all about tradition and ingredients, and it's all about 7 ingredients. So you have your flour. I use organic flour. If I can, I get it fresh grains, heirlooms, and I, you know, press it out and make my own stone ground flour. If not, I get as close as I can. So do the best for you, right? Do the best you can until you can do better. So I use organic flour, I use yeast, I have some Himalayan salt, I use some real honey for this very special challah, because this is the time of year to bring in that honey. But I use an organic, raw, unfiltered honey, local, those are all the buzzwords, because I want to make sure it is honey, because sometimes honey is corn syrup, right? So we want to make sure we're using real honey for our families to bring to our families, right, for this very special day. And I also have water, unfiltered water. You know, basically challah is just 7 ingredients, like 7 days. So maybe if we just ate it every 7 days, like maybe there's some symbolism in that. But 7 ingredients, 7 days. And
7 is the divine number.
And as my husband just said, 7 is the divine number. My husband is online. If you have any questions, throw them in chat and we'll get them answered for you. All right, so I'm going to show you how to roll out a strand. And everybody does it differently. Do what's comfortable for you, but this is how I do it. So I like to fold it in, right? Get out the air and just bring it forward. Now your strand should stay where you put it. If you're bringing it out, it should stay there. And if it doesn't, it just needs more time to rest. We all need a little more time to rest, right? So you want to just bring it out. And I would say if you were somebody that measures it out, you know, think 18 inches. That's a good number for our holiday, right? And the more symbolism you bring in, the better. I like to do everything by hand because I do believe we should come to our challah with love. I really do. No, don't beat up your challah. It will not look as gorgeous in the oven. But if you do get a little air bubble, you can just tap it down, right? Okay. So before we I'm going to let this rest a little bit. I'm going to teach you how to do these roses. Then we're going to braid. Then we're going to place the roses on top. And you are going to be well on your way to challah. Now, I'm wearing this shirt for a reason, because on my Journey to Organic page on Facebook, if you don't know how to make dough, you can find me there. And I'm wearing this, and I'll teach you. Just put the sugar in a little bit earlier. That's a tip. Okay, so here we go. I have 9 little balls all in a row. They're about 2 ounces, okay? And I don't have to be perfect. I'm going to make a gorgeous rose, but right, nature isn't perfect, so you just do the best you can. My goal is to flatten out the ball. So I've got 9 of them all set up. It's much easier that way. And I'm going to lay them on top. Now, I'm going to lay them kind of halfway there. You know, maybe a little 3/4, but just over that mark. And what we're doing is we're creating the petals. So you just keep on rolling it out. Rolling it out. There you go. And once you get to 9, you know, my grandmother used to say, 9, right? 9 is the number of humanitarians. 9 is a number of a person who's going to give back. So that's a good way to remember that you need 9 little petals. And if you use them in like odd numbers, that's fine too. If you want to make something a little bit smaller, then use 7, use 5. But I find that the odd numbers are best.
Here's the question. Your
Question.
recipe says 4 to 5 cups of flour. Do
Yes.
you start with 4 and keep adding?
I love it.
Right consistency? What do you do?
So somebody just came in clearly doing their homework, knows my recipe, and it does say 4 to 5 cups of flour. So I really start at 3 and I work my way up. But normally your bread in, where you live, you have to know where you live. And I don't want to get ahead of myself on this roast, so let me just tell you. I start at 4. If my bread is too wet and it needs closer to 5, then I give it 5. And that's really what it means to be kind of a master challah baker, right? You have to get your hands into your flour, fill your bread. It will change every day.
How do you want it to feel?
You want it to feel not too sticky, just a little. It will be a little bit sticky in the beginning, but just like it should be soft and smooth like a baby's butt, not too sticky, like you want to be there, but not for too long. Okay? So let me show you how to make this rose before we lose it. Remember, I stacked everything up, 9 little circles all in a row, right? You have children, and then you just pull the first one up just a little bit and take it two little turns until you reach your circles. And then you just go like a locomotive. Okay, so I pulled it up, I'm rolling, and now I'm going like a locomotive. Now I know that you think we are making 1 rose. But this is where Hashem comes in, right? Because we're really making 2. This is really going to give us 2 roses. I'm just going to cut it. You can use a knife or a bench blade, but you just cut it down the middle, right? And here's where the magic comes in. Now you've got this gorgeous little rose, right? You can see in this one too, that's growing. You've got this gorgeous little rose that's forming. And you don't have to be shy. You can open up the petals, and everyone is going to be a little bit different. Look at this little guy. He's so cute. I get a little bit, attached to my challah. But so you're just going to open up. So remember, 9 circles, flatten them out, thin to win, I think, for this.
Can you zoom in on the dough?
Can I zoom in on the dough? I'm not sure. My husband's
They
going
don't
to
see
come around.
It's so much light on the flour. So let me just...
Okay. So my husband's going to kind of, you can see the flowers, right? Let's see. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm hoping you can see those. Okay, let's move into braid. Remember, you're 9 flat, and I'm not, he's going to adjust me, and here I am again. I was gone, and here I am again. Okay, stop laughing. Okay, so we are going to now take our 4 strands. Now, you can do 1 strand for your family, how beautiful, and just wrap it around and fill it up with apples and be done. You do you. But I'm going to show you the 4-strand braid. Remember, I've got 4 members in my family, and I'm going to show you how I fill it up. This is really growing. Yours may not grow as much because you're going to be working faster. So bear with me. But I'm opening up with a rolling pin. Jordan may come in to adjust. So there we go. He's really good at that. You're the best, honey. I'm going to keep him. All right, so I'm opening it up. I'm just going side to side. What I'm creating is a well. I'm creating a well. And it doesn't have to be 100% straight right now. It's okay. And before this, I put my apples together. I took a green apple. I peeled it. I like green apples. They stay firm, but I also like them because they're lower in sugar, right? Our bodies aren't designed to have so much sugar. So a little less is better. And I've put some true Ceylon cinnamon. Now your cinnamon, I have to segue, I have to share this with you because you're here, right? You have to learn something. So your cinnamon, right, should kind of come like tobacco leaves. It looks like a cigar on the end. That's real cinnamon. When you buy your cinnamon, you know, fresh ground, look for true Ceylon cinnamon. Truceylon.
How
Why?
that
Why?
question? Okay.
I'm going to tell you why. Because that's what your body recognizes. That's real cinnamon. It's not bark disguised as cinnamon that has slipped by and the regulators haven't caught it. This is the cinnamon that when you're trying to lower your sugar, if you have diabetes or you're trying to offset and lower the insulin, this is the cinnamon that everybody's talking about, okay? True Ceylon cinnamon.
One of the questions that came up is, how would you make the dough vegan, or can you?
Vegan is very easy. Don't use the egg. Very easy to use. I also use oil. I don't use butter in my challah. And I choose an avocado oil, 100% avocado oil. This is 100% tells me it's pure. I'm looking for something not rancid. Oils on the market can be oils, but they're really mixed with vegetable oils or canola oils or other very, very damaging oils to our brain. So remember, your body recognizes food. And when you bring it real food, it's going to allow you to eat things, right, that you don't normally do. So I use a avocado brand, and interestingly, it's from Chosen Foods. Okay, so I've got my apples, and I've got my raw, organic, I know, unfiltered, real honey, and I'm going to bring it down. Now, let me just share this with you. Once you put that sugar with the apples together, you better work. You're in business, because sugar has this chemical reaction. Any sweetener has a chemical reaction with apples, and it just starts to turn to water. But apples by themselves for hours, dry. Now, you don't want your challah, right, to be leaking all over the place, and sometimes it does. You know, treat it like an apple pie. Maybe put a little bit of flour if you need to, and I'm going to show you how I seal it. But I'm putting in this honey. You know, I joke around and I say, you know, Eve ate the apple. In holistic medicine, you know, apples are pectin. They heal the gut, right? So maybe she was listening to her gut. Maybe she made a mistake.
Going back to the cinnamon real quick, is Vietnamese cinnamon the same as Ceylon?
Vietnamese cinnamon is the same as Ceylon. No, it's a different cinnamon, but I like the true Ceylon. That's the one I'm talking about. So back to my honey. I like to think that the apple, or maybe the mistakes that we trusted our gut or we didn't listen to it. I put it in the honey. Honey is antimicrobial, antibacterial. It never goes bad. Real honey never goes bad. If your honey crystallizes, that's an orange blossom, higher sugar content that you're seeing crystallize, but you want real honey, and real honey never goes bad. So I put my mistakes in this apple, in this strand. I cover my mistakes with the honey, and all is forgiven. That's my message. So all is forgiven. And I'm going to just take the ends. I want to make sure my fingers are dry, and I'm going to take the ends and seal it. I know I'm not going to be able to get to all your questions, because I really want to show you how to do this braid before we run out of time. But tomorrow at 3 o'clock with the JWI, and Judy's going to be so great to share a link with you, I'm going to be there right with you, making your 4-strand challah, teaching you how to braid, making those roses with you. So if you want to join us, please do. You'll get information to do that, and I will stay there all day with you to make sure that you get that gorgeous challah that you want, and all of your questions are answered. But I'm going to move just a little bit now from this section so we can get to the braiding. So I've closed with flour. Flour helps me to seal. You don't want to use water, right? Because we're trying to avoid the water, and you want to move quickly because, right, it can open up and start to leak. So I'm giving this another little roll, my little strands. I have a little bit of crowding going on. You're going to pretend, because you're so good at it, that I have filled these with apples, right? And I'm putting them together. So I've got 2 strands and I'm going to show you the braid. Jordan, can you see everything's good?
Yeah, everything's
okay,
been good.
great.
Just so you know, Judy included the link for tomorrow's.
Okay, great. So the link is up. Awesome. So we have 2 strands. I like to think about the holidays like we're making decisions, right? We have arms, we cross our legs, we're making decisions. Every time we are, stuck somewhere, we're always like this, right? So think of that visual and think about your legs and your arms. So you've got 2. This is going to be easy. You're totally going to get it. You've got 2 side by side. They're best friends. This is your family, right? And now, should our family all be friendly? And now you're going to take one, go over the other, right? We're always going over each other and under the next one. And then literally you do the opposite. So I'm going to see, let's see here. Okay. So now I'm going to go under and over. And I like my strands close together. Now this is where all the decision and the crossing come in. And I have my 4 little legs. So Amy Summers, if you're out there watching this, honey, this is for you. Okay, so you take one and you go over the other, right? You're crossing your arms, always. Go over and cross the next one. Take the next one, cross. Take the next one, cross your arms. And then straighten your arms and your legs out. And what you're basically going to do is now go the other way, right? You're indecision. Now you're going to go the other way. And so you bring it over, one strand over the other. Definitely not rocket science, and you definitely can do it. Do the best you can. Every time you practice, you will get better. And you just keep repeating this pattern. I didn't make up my mind. I need to make a better choice. And you keep crossing over. I'm crossing over, right? Now you keep this up. I'm going the other way now, if you can see. You keep this up and all of a sudden the legs and the arms, everything's getting smaller. There's panic going on, but don't panic. Just crisscross them. Keep crisscrossing them, stretching them until you can just gently tuck them under and forget about your worries. You're going to tuck it under, forget about your worries. And I know yours is going to turn out gorgeous because it's going to be fresh. You're going to be making it like that. Now I'm going to place this onto a parchment, unbleached parchment paper cooking sheet. I do that. Why? Because I don't want to bring the metal, the aluminum from this pan when it heats up into this gorgeous challah that I'm making for my family. My message to you is do better, right? If you can. For now, do the best you can. If you can change one thing, change one thing. But this is how I do it. On parchment paper, right? I place my challah. And now we're going to start to decorate. I'm going to show you how I place roses. Think about odd numbers. I'm going to show you how they stick. We're going to make some leaves and we're going to wrap this baby up, right? So you don't necessarily have to wash your challah right now because your flowers are still sticky. And you can place them on and they will kind of stick. I like to place them at the crisscross applesauce. Think of it that way. Certainly when you make your flowers really fresh as you're going along, if you want to, they'll be easier to pick up. But right now they're rested, they're happy, and I'm able to pick them up. Jordan, are you able to see, my love?
Yes, very well. How far ahead can you make the challah?
The challah itself, you always can make your challah the day before. You can freeze it, right? You can even do that with the roses and then bake them later. So you always have time, but I like to have it coming right out of the oven. I like my family. You know how Lori Platnick and Adrian were always talking about building traditions, right? And so I want to bring this rose challah into my family, not only so that they know that I love them and I want them to like smell it fresh right out of the oven. But I want to bring in those roses to remind us, right? L'dor v'dor, generation to generation. These roses for me, my family, they remind us of the generations past. And I don't know about you, but I have a grandmother named Rose. And so this is in her honor. So sure, make it ahead if you need to. but make it fresh if you can and let it come right out of the oven, and set that tradition that you're always making that challah, this rose challah, for your special Rosh Hashanah, your new year, your reminder that things start fresh.
Are there apples in all four or just one of the strands?
You should put your apples in all four. So that was the question. Are there apples in all four? You should put them in all four. But for this show, but tomorrow I'll help you and I'll show you. But for this show, so that we can work at the speed, I got it in just one to show you. Now I'm placing
I have a
them.
question.
My husband has a question.
With the liquid in the apples,
Yes.
do you have to bake it longer? And if so,
Yes.
how do you know when it's actually
Great
done?
question. So my husband is well ahead. He is trained and he's an excellent chef. And he wants to know if you have to bake this longer. And you do. Apples you have to bake longer. Whenever you fill your challah, it's gone from 30 minutes to maybe 40 minutes. So you're going to have to make it a little bit, bake it a little bit longer. Use a thermometer. Place it in the middle. If the thermometer says 191, you know your center is done. But we're going to move on right now to, I'm going to put this in frame, to the leaves. And then we'll bring this back in. So the leaves for your challah, right? You want not just roses, but you really want to create this decoration. So you roll out a little piece of dough, maybe 0.2 ounces if you're into ounces on your scale. And you're literally going to make a leaf. And I asked my husband, I said, so what's a leaf shape? Like, he's like, it's a leaf shape. It's a leaf. You're going to make a leaf, right? Don't make a maple leaf. Make a rose leaf. So you're making these big C's. And I'm putting it aside. I know it might be challenging for you to see, but you're basically making a C, a little bit thin, not too thick, right? And then, of course, you place that line down the middle of a gorgeous leaf, press firmly, and then you make these little tiny marks on the side. Now, I'm just going to pick this up. I'm not going to panic, right, if it changes a little bit, because leaves do.
What temperature do you
And I'm going to
have?
place it onto my challah. Here, I'll place it over here so you can see. And I'm going to tuck it in. It's important to tuck your leaf in. Now, as your challah rises, your leaves may separate. The closer into the center you put your roses, the better, because they're going to expand. You're going to let this rise for like a good 35 minutes, 40 minutes, because you're working on it right now. That takes a good 20, 30 minutes. But you want it to do its rise and then bake it.
When you go to bake it, what oven room temperature? Do you
I
use?
like to bake at 350. I have a convection oven. I like to put it on convection bake or true convection, so that it's only like 22 minutes. Or with this challah, when it's stuffed, it's going to be maybe 35 minutes, 40 minutes. Use that thermometer. Tools are your friend, and they will help you. I'm going to roll this out one more time. I'm going to show you how we do it. Ask Judy, how are we doing on time? Because I don't want to hog the show, but I want you to learn, right? And be able to do this at home.
She says you got 3 minutes.
All right,
Quick.
awesome. Okay, so you basically got this, girls. You've got your thin to win, right? In your shape when you roll out for your leaves. You just pick them up with a knife, and you're going to just place them in and tuck them in. Now you're baking this again, 350. You're going to egg wash it right before you bake it. Egg wash the roses, egg wash the leaves. When you place it in the oven, right? Don't be afraid to check in on it in 15 minutes. And as it grows, which it will, you can egg wash again as well. And what you're going to end up, I'm sure Judy will show you as well on the camera, but you're going to end up with this gorgeous rose challah. That's very special for Rosh Hashanah. My daughter calls it the Rosh Hashanah challah. Very trendy, very trendy. Anyway, this is your rose challah. You can join me again if you'd like to tomorrow, and I will make it with you. We have people standing by to make your dough with you if you like, or you can watch me in this shirt on Journey to Organic on Facebook. But remember, if your body recognizes real ingredients, if you can do a little bit better, you are going to enter into the new year reaching your goals. And I wish you a very healthy and happy new year. I'm so excited. Thank you, Adrienne. Thank you for allowing me to be here and really fulfill my bucket list and my promise to God. I appreciate it. I really do. And do one more leaf.
Arm, I have to tell you, honestly. Well, thank you so much, Sheri, for sharing these delicious and healthy recipes with us today. And all of this that you said helps us to prepare mentally, physically, emotionally for Rosh Hashanah.